So I wanted to talk about something. I don't know if I've gone into more elaboration on this, but I'm pretty sure I have. I think I have, but not really a whole lot. But I was thinking, since they had cameras and recording devices, I think in John Basili's garage. How old was I? I think I was 15 when we started fixing up his garage. Or he was 15. I was 15. He was 14 when we started fixing up his garage. And then his mom got us to paint the ground, the floor, and made it all badass, like smooth and soft, because it was hard concrete. So when you put this like thick layer of like paint, it kind of gave us some cushion for you to be able to walk on. And then could draw on it, right? And glow in the dark paint. You know, and one of the things that I wanted to say is that there was this girl that used to come over. I believe her name was Amanda, and she was a blonde. She was a natural blonde girl, but I'm talking about like a natural light complected girl, like beautiful porcelain skin and natural blonde hair. I'm talking about like you have these blonde sort of California girls, but these girls are like blonde. What do you call it? Like blonde Russian or like blonde Polish, like really light, beautiful porcelain skin, real pale porcelain skin, vampire skin, right? But I remember she was a pretty girl, and I think I remember her just having like some chopped lips, sort of more frequently than I've seen more girls, and you could tell she was a pretty girl, and she could absolutely look beautiful even more if she was working out. She wasn't overweight at all, or real skinny, but I'm gonna say she was like 17, and I was 16. We're like the same age. She was maybe a year older than me, or 4 months older, a few more months older than me. And we were talking, and I had sort of, talked to her. I want to say she used to drive the same car John Basili used to drive, but it was green. And she used to come over, and, there used to be a lot of problems with, like, Michael Orozco was like, oh, no, she's mine. Oh, no, you can't touch her. Kind of attitudes, pretty aggressively. And I believe at that time, I remember I knew or believed that John had slept with her because he had told me he did. Anyway, I remember talking to her. So since I already knew, anytime I knew that a guy was already screwing a girl, I was always the side friend. That's how I treated it as. I was always going to give the best positive, good side friend advice in your life, but it was completely just friendship. And I remember talking to her, and she started she could know that I was looking at her like thinking of sex. And I remember her looking at me, and she was like, and she looks over at John, and she was like looking at him like, are you fooling him? Are you fucking tricking him? This one's straight over here, and at the time, I don't know that anything else of Amanda and John, other than he said he slept with her. But I remember her one of the days, or one of the last times I saw her. We were having this long conversation, and John was on turntables. I don't know if there's recording devices that could bleed over the music, and you'd be able to hear what we were saying. But if you heard what I said, you would probably be very astounded to the things that I had said to this girl. And she felt comfortable enough to me, because, hanging out, didn't do a whole lot of drugs together. I think maybe cocaine a few times with her, once or twice with her, numbers of times of drinking, not a whole lot. But I remember her feeling comfortable enough, and she told me, she said, Hector, She says, I have a problem with saying, I have a problem with just not resisting people. She says, I'm 17 years old and I've had, you know how many people I've had sex with? She told me she had sex with, if I remember correctly, she said 26 guys in her lifetime or something like that. And I kind of just froze for a second because I was like, 26 people. How do you have like 26 people at 17? And she was kind of emotional, and I remember feeling really empathy for her. And I told her, you probably you would never have found anybody that ever came across and told her this. And I said, all you got to do is, if you're a beautiful person, is you just got to accept the things that if you don't want something, you just say no. You have to learn how to just practice saying no. If you don't want a guy to touch you, tell him no. Say no. Protect yourself. You're beautiful the way that God created you. And I was like, God, and this wasn't just a way for me to have. This was not me sneezing. I really was saying it to this person because she didn't seem to have the ability to really resist the pressures of men that were coming on to her so frequently and so often. And I wish they could probably find the recording devices, because when they heard her talking, I do remember talking to her because I was talking to her about some other situations. And once she heard a good conversation with me, we were talking, pretty loud to each other because the music was playing really loud. She looked over at John like, this guy's not gay. At the time, I don't know anything. I just thinking, John's screwing her. Yeah, that's because I knew he had screwed Anna and Jessica. But I thought it was important for me to say something about this because I don't know whatever happened to her, but I do want to say she said that she had sex with 26. It was 20-something people. But I'm going to say she said 26 people. She was 17, 18. And I said everything to her to make her feel better. I think at that moment when she kind of just let it all out, she felt in a way that was like, and she's 100% female. And, she felt like she was just needing to tell somebody this, and I don't even know if she had ever told anybody this. And I kind of just froze, not in a way because I was like 26, like that's a lot of people, but I wasn't trying to like, oh my God, you're a filthy whore look, because she'll know that if I'm thinking of that in my eyes, like, oh my God, you're a whore. I wasn't trying to project that in my eyes. I was like, gosh, I was like, because the first assumption I get, is this because it's something that you wanted to do, or is this something because you have low self-esteem? But it takes a minute to sort of gauge that. And you don't want to say, because you'll show through the expression, whore, but that's not what you're trying to do, but it'll cross your mind and you're sizing things up. So being patient with this is, as I felt empathy, and you would, if they got the recording device, if they got the damn fucking recordings and videotape, you'll hear everything you'll have to say, and you'll hear how I talk, how well I talk, and how positive and influencing way that I was. The same way I always tend to do that to females. I used to do this to Lisa as well. Basically always making them feel highly treasured. But either way, they never talked to me again. But I thought it was important for me to talk about. I think that one of the reasons, because I always ask John, is Amanda going to come over? He had sort of ran her off. I don't know what the situation was. He would never tell me. But I think he had a habit of running people off without telling me, because they were females and I could potentially, hook up with them as well. And I think it's important for me to talk about because I thought it was important for me to talk about, that I wish somebody could probably pull that camera and let the voice recorder, you hear me, everything I had to say, and you'd be like, wow, you'll never have, because the way that I had expressed for someone I really hardly didn't know, really all that well, that I was like, you're beautiful. I was like, fuck these guys. If you don't want these guys to touch you, say no. Don't let them touch you. Get away from them. Don't call them. Don't do anything. No means no. Strengthen yourself by saying no to people. You're a very beautiful girl. You're very special the way that God made you. God made you very complete the way that you are, and that He did not make you incomplete by expecting someone that was going to enter your life to make you complete. He made you whole already. He made you complete the way you were, and then you partnership into this world with another individual. And I want to say those were my exact same words. I was 16 years old. I was 16 or 17. Because I stopped hanging around John, going to his garage, and I was like late 17, because I was already living at my house all the time by myself. So I was like 16 and she was 17. She was going to Turner. I don't remember what happened to her, but thought I brought that up.